A Night in the Woods really started, well, the idea started 25 years ago when I went to camp in this wood. The sun was setting, it was getting dark. I remember I sat on those boulders and you see snakes and lizards, and it has an amazing atmosphere. And I just watched the light go down. My tent was right next to the wood, in the same place we filmed the tent. I went to sleep. Woke up like probably 2 or 3 in the morning when it's barely light. You can just see a little bit of light, and I could feel fingers on my throat. So I looked up, and there was somebody, the silhouette of somebody just pinning me down. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sleeping." I fell asleep, woke up again, and this character had gone. And I thought, well, okay, that's just a very amazingly vivid dream, but that's what I thought it was. You know, I came back to where I was living and spoke to a friend of mine who'd lived on the moor and knew the moor, and I said, "Are there any stories about Wistman's Wood?" And she said, "Yeah, the hands. People feel hands on their throat, squeezing their throat." So, you know, I still don't know to the day what it was, but it provided some inspiration for the story. The first time I talked to Alan about it, I could have told, you know, it was 3 sentences. It was a classic Hollywood pitch, 3 or 4 sentences, and that was kind of all it was. He said, "Come back and develop it into something a bit bigger, give me 5 or 10 pages," and then he almost greenlit that. And, you know, I don't think there's very few film companies that were willing to sort of greenlight something that was so improvised and had no script. Right, here we are. This is the day 1 of the woods scenes. Someone's over there. They're filming, they're doing their little song, their little number. It's been quite an interesting morning, but quite brilliant in places. It's quite chaotic though, you just don't know, just let them go with it. We had to find 3 actors that were willing to go into a project without a script. That often entailed me sitting down there in the audition, and because we didn't have the other actors to improvise with them, it was me improvising with them. Someone, maybe? Someone, something?
Well, I don't know, mate. I'm single at the moment, so...
Yeah, there must be someone out there you've got your sights set on. I quite enjoyed that as an audition process, but it also gave me a chance to really look at someone quite attentively, quite intuitively, and so it was quite good for the auditioning, I think, doing some of that. Ultimately, we ended up with 3 actors who were very strong improvisers.
So am I in trouble then if I haven't got those trousers?
I don't know.
See, this drizzle, I'll be alright in this. Is it gonna pour?
Yep, it is.
Andrew didn't really say very much. He was much more quiet, but that was a bit like his character. Very natural. You know, there were some great scenes between him and Scoot just trying to push him to say things or do things, and he would just like pull back. He just kept quiet, didn't rise to the bait.
I've known Carrie for 6 months and she's never mentioned you before.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know your cousins.
Just saying. She never mentioned you before.
Scoot, you know, he has a real talent, that guy. He's a great actor. He's a great actor. He really has to feel, he has to feel it. And he also had this incredible ability to go into any scene and, like, me and Hubie, the producer, co-producer, watching the scene unravel was like, that's brilliant. He took it really great places, and he suddenly surprised people.
I've come out here and where the fuck I am to get away, to create space.
What he did is he pulled something brilliant in the character of Brody. He put a character out of the hat that was funny and enigmatic and charming, and you liked him, and he was irreverent towards all things English, which is I think it works really well. And then he went dark with it, you know, and he has that ability. His character's coming out kind of a bit harsher than was on the page, so she's got to recalibrate, Anna's got to recalibrate and think, well, if Brody's going to be an arse, what am I going to do? I'm going to flirt with Leo. So it's her sort of, so she's not such a wallflower, you know, she's got a bit of punch. Anna's a very physical actor. She's got a lot of physical experience, you know, and she really threw herself into the part. We worked really hard together, especially the last few scenes, which are long and hard. Her running, a lot of screaming, you know, very physical. She put a lot of energy and effort into that. Action!
Leo!
It feels very different from a scripted film. With improvise, you get something probably more akin to true life.
Give me a rock!
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Leo, you high?
This is kind of surreal because you're both filming me. I'm only used to one camera in my life.
So what have we got there? Sorry,
Sweet.
got infrared at the front. That's an infrared, right?
Infrared. A hocus focus remote system.
All right.
And it's configured for Steadicam, and then quick assembly back to handheld.
Cool.
Within minutes.
Simon was brilliant. He was so good to work with in many ways because he approached it not like a traditional DOP. Look, a handy thing he made. Look at that.
Aqua cover.
So that is just made with plastic bags inside, is it?
Yeah, made it this morning in about 5 minutes.
And this film required definitely a left field approach. Such a weird contraption, that thing.
I know, it's all levers and pulleys. Industry's all about levers and pulleys.
And gaffer tape.
Gaffer tape, twine, whatever we can get our hands on.
I had a little handy cam, the silver camera that Leo has, and I had that on me quite often. So the horses at the very end, I just saw them one night at 2 o'clock in the morning as I was crossing the moor. It's incredible wild horses. Look at that, just here, we just arrived at the set. There's a whole bunch of horses. So we used little bits of that. Just random stuff we filmed. What I wanted to capture was the way that everybody films themselves with that, and that has a really particular look. So I really wanted to capture that naturalistic feel. I wanted the actors to be able to move and ebb and flow around that and be able to pick the camera up. Right, basically, Scoop, it's a fantastic idea. He's gone off with the camera. Where have the actors gone with the sound man?
No.
Where is everyone?
They're going off to shoot the film while we're having lunch.
And that boy is driven. Yeah, man, I'm going to do it. I want to try things. So he's quite sort of rock and roll, and he gets his teeth into it. So off they go. So that was a really strange way to approach shooting a film. Quite a few scenes to get through today. Quite a few big numbers. Kerry has to make a decision between Leo and Brody, which one she goes with. Well, I think I'm probably doing that somewhere around here, actually. She can be up there looking down to Leo, who's here, who's by the trees, doesn't want to come into the wood. And Brody up there can persuade her to go. Just mapping out all the other scenes we can get here. We've got to dig graves. She's got to run and stumble in the graves. She's got to fight, turn on Brody, fight with him. 6:10, so it's about 30 minutes of daylight. It's going to get dark. It gets very difficult, a bit more difficult to work up here. And this is my plan here. That's how high tech it gets. My map and my plan of tonight's shots. Where are we going to do them? The whole kind of rock and roll approach, the guerrilla style approach. Well, we're actually going to put tents up and we're going to camp out there, and it's a difficult place to work. It's not easy to get to. You know, it's an hour walk, and then it's a 20-minute drive, and then you're subject to the most extraordinary changes of weather and conditions. So, forecast said sunny intervals. So we just have to see how the rest of the day works out. But the rain is good. Looks good because you get rain on the lens. You're probably getting some rain on the lens now, which looks good. And this is the moors, quite famous for their changeable weathers. It's not an easy place to film, but again, on the good side, it's got an amazing character. So the character starts to impart itself upon the acting, the performances. It becomes an inspiration.
It's all in there. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and splodge. This is fucking great. We should be shooting this. Let's grab the camera.
Yeah, let's go. We did capitalise on some extraordinary weather patterns. The mist rolled in one evening, and then the scene that actually had mist written into it by an incredible fluke of chance. If you can capitalise on these seemingly random factors, then you can kind of make the most of the landscape. You try and control it, trying it, well, we've got to shoot this today and we've got to shoot that tomorrow, then it becomes a bit untenable. Hard day. Wet, rainy. Did get somewhere. We found a way of scoot filming without holding the camera, putting the camera down, and then we get scenes and he does something else and relaxes and forgets the camera's there and gets the scene. And it seems to work for him, and it looked really good. So maybe we've broken the back of it. Maybe, I hope. So Wednesday 10th, 6:30, 7 o'clock, it's getting dark now, so getting ready for the next night scene, and I'm back here. A few funny memories because I was here yesterday when I descended into my own little madness. For reasons of the fact that it was very hard putting the story together, constantly in your mind thinking, how does this scene play out with that scene? There was a certain amount of pressure just working nights, 20 nights on the trot. You know, you get up there when it's getting dark and then you film till 3 and 4 in the morning. There was a lot of pressure on me, and I was like, right, one day I'm not going to stay in the hotel anymore. I'm just going to sleep out in the tent. So I slept back in the tent, as I had done years before, right next to the wood, on my own. And that night, it was fine. Slept really well. Second night, I said, right, okay, no problem, I'm going to sleep here again. And that night, the wind ripped through the tent. The tent was being pulled down, and it just went on and on, all the way through the night, and I couldn't sleep. And I just was, I am going nuts. I haven't slept. I can't stop my mind churning over all this stuff, constantly. Right, 7 in the morning, the light was just coming, the sun was coming up. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to walk across the moors. So I climbed and walked all the way around the moors. I thought I was going to walk it out until I just calmed, relaxed again. I got to the top of a mountain because you couldn't even make phone calls. I had to get on top of a mountain called Hooby. I was going, Hooby, I'm really not sane today. I can't shoot this. So the co-producer Hooby said, no, take a day off. And it was fucking hell. It was hellish yesterday. So the times up there, I just wanted to run away. I didn't want to carry on filming. So here we are, walking out probably the last day here at Wistman's Wood. It's this gorgeous 20 minute walk up to where we have the tents and the wood. It's spectacular weather. It's like summer. It looks like summer. Clear skies, a little bit of mist. Stars coming out soon, no doubt. It's been a rough ride, some of this. Some of it's been great and some of it's been a bit tough. It feels like it's kind of winding up now, coming to the end.
I've been for 3 or more in this little Isle of Green, and a gnome from the Tamer and down to Sigaloo, and a gnome by the name of old Johnny Doo. Of all the trades, sure begging is the best.
What do you think? You think they're going to make it?
I kind of hope they're both falling because I think that'll be really funny.
Hello. We're going cow hunting.
I slept in the barn, went down the caravan, the wet night came on, and I slept until the dawn, with the hope and the reef from the rain coming through.
Got one more scene to do. Send Simon up to set the cameras back up, and one of the cameras has been ruined by the weather. Ponies on the prairie. Little ponies. Yeah, little pony.
We went about editing this in the way one would edit a documentary. You know, you can play fast and loose with the order to some extent. We tried things that were out of order. There was a lot of scenes that were just pure improvised scenes that maybe didn't move the narrative on, so we tried them in, tried them out. It was much more like cutting a documentary than it was cutting a feature film. So we realised it has to be authentic. It's got to be made up of jump cuts, not classic coverage. If it looked like a movie, it wasn't going to work. If it was jump cut, generally the jump cuts help. They did help the scene. We had to rewrite rules in the edit about can we lay sound on? Can we lay things on that weren't there? And eventually, we started laying things on. I was going, no, it doesn't feel right. And I actually just cut it all way back. Make this make this quieter for when the spade bangs. So like bring the wind down a bit, make it a bit more of a silent moment. And it has to think, well, is this believable? Is that sound believable? What do you think?
It's very scary.
I've worked with this editor, Chris, for 15 years, and we know each other really well. And we also developed this way of getting through the day. We call it Mad Hour. One hour, you just go nuts.
We were gone astray.
It really releases the pressure, and then you go back and you feel like you've vented. It's some sort of cathartic, psychological purging, and then you get on with the edit again. Just to point out, we are working very hard on this very expensive edit suite, making full use of everything.
Go on then, show me what we're doing.
I am the disturbance bunny. We're in the mix. We're in the madhouse. We're in the dark room again. It's not happy hour yet, is it?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
It's getting that way. Getting there.
Too early for abuse.
We gotta get out of the woods.